Welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am Chris Gore. I am off the heels of the Nerdrotic Nooner, and I just wolfed down. I wolfed down a chicken pot pie. I'm not gonna lie. It was baking. They take 50 minutes to bake apparently, and only a few minutes late here. Thank you for joining us here on Hollywood on the Rocks, which is our Wednesday show here at Film Threat. We're going to talk about indie films. We're going to talk about movies coming to theaters, and we're going to talk about the mess that is Hollywood, because Hollywood is on the rocks every Wednesday. And you know what they say? It's happy hour somewhere in the world. It's happy hour. It might be happy hour where you are right now. It definitely is on the East Coast, right? So join us, grab a drink, grab a beverage of your choice. I have a beverage of my choice. Get ready to experience Hollywood on the Rocks. And here we go. I am Chris Gore from Film Thread. Thank you for spending your afternoon, or it could be evening for you if you're on the European continent here. But I am joined, as always, by Alan Ng, the editor-in-chief of Film Thread. Alan, how's it going today, man?
Oh, going good. Yeah, got through some movies. We're going to talk about today.
We got a
This is not a good week for movies. I hate to say it.
It's not going to be a good week for movies for a long time, which I think is going to put us in a position where we're going to be covering some of the series that are coming out soon. There's a couple of series that are going to be coming out in the next few weeks and month. We've got, of course, The Rings of Power. Do people want us to cover it? And I would be covering it as a normie. All right. I'm no expert like Gary Beekler. I am not an expert. I have not read Tolkien, but things do not bode well for that series. Alan, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit more knowledgeable than you, only in the fact that I did read The Hobbit and I did read the first Lord of the Rings, but beyond that, and I'm fairly knowledgeable about Christianity in terms of Tolkien's background. So that's as far as my experience goes.
Well, I am a fan of the Peter Jackson movies. I think that those, and the fact that sucked me in, I think really speaks to how powerful his vision was, how he really stuck to he was trying to serve the work. What Peter Jackson was trying to do. So I'm confused that they don't want him involved in this show. That seems kind of stupid to me.
Yeah, I mean, are these services allergic to money? I mean, I think Warner Brothers is kind of turning things around in terms of wanting to make money with their content and wanting to appeal to the masses. I mean, even CNN, you're starting to see slow changes going on at CNN.
Oh, I wouldn't know because I don't watch CNN.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able, but you can tell me. You can let me know they're making changes.
I mean, they were a little bit critical of a certain raid that occurred a couple days ago in Florida. And even one of their little toadies was questioning, certain president's son and his dealings with a certain country. We're not a political.
We're not. Look. While I have my opinions about politics, unless it's actually, integral to the subject matter that we're discussing, I stay out of it mostly, but it does come up. It's hard not to come up because it's just so pervasive. But let's a couple of quick housekeeping notes before we get started. If you want to contact us for any reason, really easy. Just go to filmthreat.com/contact. Support us and buy something. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Alan and I are both wearing our Film Threat t-shirts for the day. Mine is a Fight Club inspired shirt. We've got some more new shirts this fall. We're going to have a whole line of new shirts. Alan, when you check out these designs, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Alan has a Film Threat the 13th, inspired by the Friday the 13th logo. And that helps support us, and it's good. You could get yourself a Film Threat mug. It holds any liquid that you would like, hot or cold. So do that. And then also subscribe to our email newsletter for alerts. Our email newsletter. That's it. Write down. Just go to filmthreat.com/newsletter. And if you like free stuff, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Film Threat 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036. I'll send you back a bumper sticker. It's just an envelope with another envelope inside of it. And if you send me a large envelope, I'll send you back a whole bunch of, I get a lot of stuff. I'll get t-shirts, I'll get DVDs. If you send me a large enough envelope with enough postage, make sure you do, priority mail package is probably the best. Like a priority mail where it's not tied to weight, I'll fill it with stuff. So some of you who are watching have gotten a bunch of free stuff that we've sent out. Share those pictures on social media and tag Film Threat. All right. What did I get? We're going to do some other, we'll do plugs later, but I want to talk about, there's a topic I want to talk about. Might be too early to talk about. Might be too early to discuss this topic.
Which one is that?
But let's just get to luck. Let's talk. But before we do that, let's see who's here. First of all, Flaccid Phoenix is behind the scenes right now. Producer on the show, modding. He's in the chat. He's starring the best chat comments and questions. And Flaccid Phoenix, subscribe to his channel. He could use your support. Trav101 is a member and says the Luck trailer looks promising. It reminds me of old school Pixar, and he spells it SKOOL, which I love that, like play school. Big Worm says, "Heyo, just got done with the nooner. Let's keep this party going." Thanks, Big Worm. Appreciate that. Patrick Lemire, new camera. I think it's what it is new settings on the camera. I literally downloaded an app called Webcam Settings, and I just changed the settings. I still need a better camera, Patrick, and I'm going to be working on that. Julian N is a new member. Thank you for joining. We go through the member exclusive content. You get like pictures. Alan's going to be posting a bunch of stuff there, which I'm very excited about.
By the way, it's Jillian N.
Jillian, yes, Jillian N. Sorry about that. Bill T, I remembered to smash the like button without a reminder. Well, you know what? Smashing the like button is one thing. But you know what we always love? If you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed, you can slap that subscribe button.
Oh, wow.
And if you stick around, the beginning of the show is when we show all of our dumb videos.
Finish him. Oh, my jeans.
It's just, and before we get to our reviews, I just want to say, as many have said before, Film Threats reviews are delicious.
Holy fucking shit, these reviews are delicious.
They are. They are, Alan. These reviews are delicious. We're going to go through some of these comments and then we'll jump right into luck. Wowim Tim says Chris has very underrated hair. Well, there you go. I don't know. It does its own thing. It does its own thing. Jack D. Ripper says, "Hail Alaning." CD Stein 69 is here. Love the video rant from Call Me Chado, Chris show on the Nooner. Pretty much said everything in my head about what I think about modern Hollywood. Yeah, that Chado, look at Paul Chado does this rant, and he talks about how effectively nerd culture has been co-opted, and the sort of derisive feelings, the negative feelings, and that studios feel for the audience, which is sort of weird. It's so weird. And I've seen things like this get co-opted. I've seen San Diego Comic-Con kind of was this thing that you had to kind of know about, and it was just nerds. Now it's all this corporate, and you've got the Entertainment Weekly party and this. Same thing happened to Sundance. Sundance was like this small little film festival in this mountain town where people went to ski. Then it just got invaded by corporations. Yeah, it's that's a great rant, and I want to
I think Carrie Smith, she just did an interview about the knitting community and how that got.
Isn't it weird how every community that gets infected, it's either by wokeness or corporate BS, just gets ruined. It sucks. Daniel for 10 says, "When is Alan going to take his shirt off live on stream? Give the audience what they want." Well, you know what I'll do? I'll give you a tease. Just a little tease. Right here. And we got to give Daniel his $10 worth. Now I may be going to Vegas actually to meet up with the FNT crew. It's a maybe at this point because I gotta work things out. All sorts of weird. I may like just go in and then come back that night. So, but I want to be there. 7 p.m. is the meetup. Details are on Gary's channel. I'm so sorry. I don't know the details off the top of my head. It's not my event, but I've been invited. So I would love to attend. And if Alan goes, here's what we can expect to see. You know, okay, so when I play these videos of Alan, I never look at the videos. I always look at Alan's face. It's sometimes more entertaining than the videos. Greg Gore.
I'll be in San Jose though, so I won't be able to make it to.
Oh, you're not. Oh, that's right. You're going to another film festival. So there you go.
Yeah.
Greg Gore Mures says, first time here after I have just seen you on Nerdrotic Nooner. Thank you, Greg Gore. I hope we live up to your expectations. We have fun here. We talk about you know, stuff that sometimes crosses over with what Gary's discussing. Depends on what's out there. You know, if a Marvel movie comes out, we're pretty much all talking about it, have our own takes. And so there you go. I appreciate that you made it here, Greg Gore. Amanda Nowicki, good to see you back. Cover the Rings of Power. Do it. I think we're going to do it. There is a chance that Alan and I will get to see, because we do get screeners from Amazon on occasion. Mainly
actually, they're very good about getting us advanced screeners. So,
but this is a different show. I feel like, and look, you know, again, I am not a Tolkien, expert or even a purist. You know, there are a lot of people that have problems with the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films. People have problems with it, and I understand. But Amanda's asking for us to cover it. I think we'll have to, and hopefully we'll get to see it a little early. And I don't know if that means anything, but like sometimes what they'll do is they'll send out like the first 2 or 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
So you're not invested in the black female dwarf first time ever in cinema or in media whatsoever?
No, I think that's dumb. And I think that way of marketing a project turns people off.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it just shouldn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Be a good character. They're acting like what I don't like is these actors. And I mentioned this a little bit on the Nooner, but it's just like, I feel like sometimes being an actor is sort of a hollow thing because it's very dumb. You're pretending like you did when you were a little kid, but you're very good at it. And you can memorize things. And I will say, like, when I first started doing television, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Okay. No. I had to kind of learn how to do it on the job because I just wrote funny stuff on the internet. And someone said, well, hey, would you like to be on television doing that? And I was very busy writing a book. I said, no, I'm too busy writing the book. The more I said no, the more they wanted me. I got on this show called The X Show. It's the first show I ever had like a regular TV gig, not just sort of being a commentator. So this was a regular gig where I'd review movies. And I basically learned that what you need to do, here's everything you need to know to be on television. Take notes, everybody. It's everything you need to know. You need to be able to walk up to a piece of tape that's on the ground and stop. That's called making your mark. So you walk up to a piece of tape and you kind of know where to go, where the tape is, and kind of almost with not looking at it, right? Like
you can't look down. You cannot look down.
It's like just outside of your sight line, but you know the tape is there, and you walk to that piece of tape. You turn, you sort of like know where the light is, know where the camera is. And then, at least for me, because I wrote on my own stuff on the X Show, you need to be able to read a teleprompter, but it's not like you're reading, it's like you're talking to somebody. Those are the 2 things you need to know. And that's pretty much it. So that's what I learned.
Yeah.
And not that I've gotten any better, but that just each gig led to the next gig. So what can I say?
Ultimately, her performance has to speak for itself. I mean, you know, we can speculate all we want. We could be upset, but you know, if it sucks, it sucks, and we've got to be able to call it out.
Right. Well, you know what sucks today, Alan? I think your internet. You're very blocky. Is
Am I?
Alan blocky and pixelated?
Yeah.
Is it just me?
No, I'm
Yeah.
getting the signal that my internet's not
You're getting
great.
the signel.
I
Sean
mean,
Zamir. Sean Zamir for $1.99 says, I went there. I couldn't get a hold of you guys. You went where? Went where? Sean, let us know. Went where? We couldn't get a hold of us. How? We're so, I don't know. We're pretty easy to get a hold of. Just go to filmthreat.com/contact. If you have a really specific question, some people have sort of generic, but I pretty much respond to everything directed toward me. Or if it's I'm very terse. Let me just say, I will talk your ear off. Ask Alan. I will talk your ear off on a live stream. If you email me, you ask me a question, I'm very direct and very, very terse. Amanda Nowicki says, can a Film Threat mug hold potato chips? Absolutely. And Trav 101, he's a member, do you ship internationally? Oh my God, I don't know actually. It's a different, we use Shopify. I'm pretty sure, the postage may cost you, but yeah, all of our shirts are like custom made as they, you pick kind of the color you want, the design you want, and boom, it gets shipped out. So check that out, Trav 101. Let me know. Jinx is here. Can you make a t-shirt with just Alan's nipples on it? We have some new designs that are going to be pretty awesome. Shucksy, hey, Chris, loved hearing you on the Nooner. Hey, I always love doing it. It's always great to just check. I always learn something, and then I've got my own opinions and thoughts about things. It's always great to hang out on that show. I appreciate that Gary and Garrett have me on. Jack D. Ripper says, thanks for the Fandor subscription, guys. So pumped I won. Well, we wanted to give away a lot of things to our audience. Today, we're going to be giving away a copy. We're going to have the director on of Wolfhound today, later in the show, I think in an hour and a half or so. And we're going to be giving away a Blu-ray of Wolfhound, which is out on Blu-ray this week. Very excited to give that away. Hey, we're going to be doing more giveaways. There's no limit. You could win something again. We're going to be giving away voodoo codes for movies, so stick around. Luther Talbert just became a YouTube member. Thank you for that. Johnny Boy for $9.99. Thanks for the free stuff. Oh, you got the package. Share a picture on social media. Tag us on Twitter. That's great. Yeah, I just like to give out free stuff. I got a pile of stuff. I could give it to Goodwill. I can give it to you. There you go. Jillian N says, you're welcome. Happy to be here. I'm used to Jillian. No worries, though. Thank you. Alan Plungers. Oh, that's great. That's great. And my apologies. I make it a point. I like to pronounce things correctly. I do my best. Alex Fung says, been following you guys for a few months now. First time catching live. Just saying thanks for all the great recommendations. We may have more non-recommendations today than recommendations.
We have a lot of non-recommendations.
Yeah. So let's get through it. When will Alan be exposed for taking under-the-table deals from Disney? Very soon. Very soon.
I don't know why people. I have given Disney way too much money.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's the other way around. Jinx says, what's Alan's OnlyFans ID? Asking for a friend. And CD Stein 69 says, thoughts on the rumors of Esposito and Halle Berry, the new Little Mermaid, as Shadowcat and MCU in the MCU X-verse. So tired of the manipulation of iconic established characters to fit a narrative. CD Stein 69 for $9.99. I have not heard that rumor. Should it surprise you? No. That new Little Mermaid looks terrible. Watch that Long Beach Griffey. Just look up on YouTube later, Long Beach Griffey, Little Mermaid. Thank me later. That's everything you need to know.
So
that video. We're almost through this.
You've not heard Esposito as Professor X?
I don't know. I feel like it kind of like, I think that's what he wants. I don't know. I feel like,
I can kind of see him as it. I get why people are saying it, but
have to shave his head. It's gonna have to shave his head.
I think he could do that.
No way. You can't get away with it like Chris Evans, who plays two. Chris Evans played two classic Marvel characters that have blonde hair, and he didn't dye his hair. Captain America and Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. How could he get away with that? Blonde locks on Cap, if you're going for accuracy. King Rue, she's not the first one, Alan. Nerdrotic covered this extensively. Yeah,
I was joking.
The first dwarf of color. Douglas A. Burton for $4.99. Definitely cover Rings of Power. I think it will be a peak woke event. We will be covering it. We are in the midst of planning our Critics Court Star Wars edition. We're going to be doing that. We may have to switch. We're in the midst of bringing on a new producer to help with the show. So once we get that all locked up, we're going to be spinning off some new content. We might do another show in addition to the live cast and Hollywood on the Rocks. Thank you, Douglas A. Burton, for that. And thanks for the recommendation. Sparta 300. Chris, I think you should not review the Rings of Power. Pay it no attention and it will die by gagging on its own vomit. I mean, I think we kind of have to cover the beginnings of it. Will we stick through it like week by week? I don't know if I don't know if I have that kind of patience.
The upside is when we see it as a screener, it won't count toward the overall
views.
Yeah,
exactly. Pilgrim Media for 2. Hail Film Threat. You're making history, friends. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. It's almost 250 people watching live right now. That's good for us. I appreciate it. Script Doctor, love that you're here. Got to get you on the show at some point. Know your lines, hit your mark, and listen to everyone around you. That's called the Kurt Russell method. Oh, really? Yeah, that's I would say also, and this is something where there was a video about this on Film Courage. Maybe that's how some of you discovered me, either through Nerdrotic, or I've been on FNT a couple times, I think 3 times, and whatnot. There was a video about this, about directing actors. And the thing is this, I will just say this, having done it in a limited sense, just give 1 note. If it's a between take, whatever, don't give 7 notes, because they're not going to be able to remember that. Always just give 1 note. If you give 1 note and they can do it, then the next take you do another note and another note. This little directing advice here is, if you just give 1 note, they're going to do that thing. You can continue to layer on more things to improve the performance. But if you give 9 notes to an actor all at once, they'll never do all those things, right? Just assume, know the capabilities of the talent that you're working with. But thank you, Script Doctor, for that. And Jillian N says, Alan is co-streaming his OnlyFans. It's taking up too much bandwidth. And Bear Down Adam is a member, says, my daughter enjoyed Rise of Gru. Thanks for the code. Glad I won. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we gave away Minions Rise of Gru codes, and we're gonna be giving away more. I talked to a guy I know who works at Fandango about getting more codes for us to give away on a weekly basis. I like to give away free stuff, because you know why? I always like to get free stuff. I like to get things for free. Free stuff.
Well, how do you think I got my free copy of Baby Assassins?
Right.
2 others, yeah.
Right, but let's get into it, folks. We're pivoting over to, we need to talk about Luck. Luck is it the first animated? It's not the first animated film from Apple TV, from Apple.
I don't believe so.
No, it's not the first. It's the first from Skydance, where John Lasseter is part of the team there. He's part of the creative team. And John Lasseter, of course, the storied career of John Lasseter from Pixar.
You mean serial hugger?
Serial hugger. He hugged me and I felt uncomfortable. And also, full disclosure, I've met John Lasseter and spent time with him. I was the program director at the Sonoma Valley Film Festival in the early 2000s. I basically just chose the movies that were going to be there. I helped put together panels, I helped promote the festival. I went up to Sonoma Valley, very beautiful area of Northern California in the wine country, and got to go to John Lasseter's house because he's on the board of the Sonoma Valley Film Festival. I'm not sure if that's true anymore, but at the time he was, and great guy. He is a legit nerd. This guy knows he's got legit nerd cred, super nerd about, look at Toy Story. Right, that's someone who knows someone who knows their toys. In addition, yes, he hugs people. There's a guy. This was from the 70s, and no one's gonna remember this but me. You can look it up. His name is Leo Buscaglia, and he was a guy who used to go on the talk show circuit. He wrote, and he promoted hugging people. There's whole people who have families where they come from a family of people who never hugged. and he explained his philosophy was hugging is like energy. This is how we express emotions and feelings. I'm not such a huge hugger. I'm a guy that will give you like the shoulder hug or the pat. So I say my hugs just for people I know maybe more intimately or family or whatnot, but he promoted this whole idea of hugging. And I think that John Lasseter kind of came from that era, that generation. And maybe some people don't like to hug. You kind of have to know their boundaries. But look up Leo Buscaglia. I believe it's Buscaglia. Leo Buscaglia Staple. PBS. Yeah, exactly. And he just promoted the idea of like, hey, you should hug more because you'll feel it is also good for your mental health, is to have that connection. There was never anything that came out about John Lasseter that was illegal. A couple of inappropriate jokes. Who hasn't done those? He was
it wasn't nothing sexual, nothing assaulty.
Yeah, nothing assaulty or sexual. But this is my long-winded way of saying John Lasseter is involved in this project, but I don't think he was involved very deeply.
Yeah, it's very clear that John Lasseter was not, his influence is very limited, if there is any at all.
Yeah, I feel like he came to this project a little too late in the development process, and didn't really have the opportunity to have much of an impact. He's listed as a producer on Luck. It's a director and writer I've never heard of. And let's launch into it, Alan. Tell us the story of Luck.
Yeah, Luck is about a girl, a young woman named Sam, who is basically aging out of her foster care system. So she's been in the foster care system for a very long time, turned 18, and now she's kind of getting the boot, so to speak. But she has chronic bad luck, and everything she does, nothing ever good comes her way. And as she's leaving the facility, the girl's home, there's another girl there who may or may not be adopted, and she wants to give her good luck. And she comes across a cat. Long story short, cat gives her a penny, a lucky penny. It's just a weird thing to talk about. But this movie is really about this idea of luck, kind of like Inside Out, but instead of emotions, it's about this idea of good and bad luck. And and so she goes into this world of luck. And me just trying to describe it tells you how good this movie is, or how bad this movie is, because I'm grasping to really try to grab hold of the concept of this movie.
Well, the concept is, it's sort of like Monsters Inc., right? Like there is an other world where luck and bad luck are created and go out into the universe, right? Mm-hmm. And the character of Sam is a chronic person who has bad luck, and it kind of exposes through these, like, there's leprechauns that are in this world, and there are cats, and they spread good luck and bad luck. That's the basic concept.
Yeah. Along with bunnies and unicorns and
exactly. And yeah, there's unicorns and dragons, and it's here's the first red flag is it's not easy to explain.
Yeah.
Because they keep adding new rules and changing rules. So as Sam is being exposed to this world through the cat that she befriends, you're learning, like, well, this is what happens with lucky pennies. This is what happens with this. Yeah. And they keep, like, I feel like if this concept is going to work, it's got to be one simple rule. You can change it up at the end, which always tends to happen. You add a new wrinkle to a rule or an exemption and whatnot that changes things leading towards the climax of the movie. But it's convoluted. It's not as simple as something like a Monsters Inc. or in the Toy Story world, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's
I think Inside Out is the closest comparison, and even that is accessible. It's easy to understand, as complicated as that world is. Well, and this one, I don't know. Luck is just not something that I think about a lot. It's not a concept that I don't feel people think about being lucky or unlucky every day, or have such an emotional attachment to the concept of luck. And I think that's part of the problem of this movie, is it's not, these are just concepts that people are not emotionally invested in.
Well, okay, so that I hadn't thought about, and that's a good point. Yeah, luck is like it's not as common, it's not as a simple thing as like having a bad dream, right? Like, okay, so how are bad dreams or monsters? How is that?
Mhm.
How does that work? Like in Monsters Inc. And I thought that was done much better. So the concept out of the gate is totally convoluted, and it doesn't need to be as convoluted. In addition, in addition, the character Sam comes from an orphanage, but now she has to go out in the world because she was never adopted, and she
Mhm.
has this young girl who's still at the orphanage that
Yeah.
may or may not get adopted, and she's hoping with good luck she'll get adopted. Um, as the story goes on, it turns into a search for your forever family, because
Mhm.
your real family is not that important, right? Real, and by real I mean blood relation, right? We don't know how these kids in the story became orphans, but it's the search for your who will end up being your forever family. And something about that concept kind of it just rubbed me in a weird way.
Yeah. You know,
What are they trying to say by like your forever family? So
yeah,
forget,
well, let me clarify that.
please.
Forever family is actually a term used in relationship to adoptions and foster care.
Right,
It's the idea that kids, these are kids who do not have families or
right.
have, parents taken away for whatever reason. I have an adopted daughter, and so we are her forever family. So it's not a sinister term; it's a term that's used in the context of foster care and adoption. And so, there's a positive spin to that phrase.
Okay, well, I kind of saw it as something else, and I could be wrong. Okay, my interpretation could be wrong, but here's what I'll say about it. Um, it's and just as an FYI, if you want to see luck, we were not sent a screener that I had to. I happen to have an Apple card. Okay, you can if you have an iPhone, you can actually apply for an Apple card right in the Wallet app. I learned all this. Okay. Then what they're doing is they really are pushing this movie. Apple is really pushing luck right now for that. You can get Apple TV Plus for free for 3 months, 90 days. And you can, if you're just an Apple card holder.
Mhm.
So I literally learned this like 2 days ago. Like, oh, like I can just, I was gonna pay for it. I'm glad I didn't have to. But yeah, so now I have Apple TV Plus for the
Did
next
you
90 days.
did you get that Apple ball for last year
What's
from
a ball? No, I didn't get a ball.
it was, I think they call it the Touch or something, the iTouch, but
Yeah, I don't.
it's kind of like Apple's version of Alexa or Google Home.
I'm
But
sure it's awesome.
but as CCA members, we all got one, and it came with
All right, well, there you go.
a year subscription to Apple Plus.
All right. Well, I don't remember that, but I do. I I just went, and so pro tip to anyone: if you've got an Apple card, you've got Apple TV Plus for the 90 days free.
Mhm.
I think the reason they're doing this now specifically to promote luck.
Mhm.
They want to show that they've got like the big guns when it comes to,
Yeah.
when it comes to releases, right? They want to be toe to toe with other streaming services. Here's what I'll say. Movie's too long. It's like an hour 45 or so.
No, I think it's hour 50.
Hour 50. Okay, so already too long, right? 90 minutes. Nothing needs to be longer than Minions. Okay, Minions set the standard. Let's do under 90 minutes. I think the new Minions is 88 minutes. Okay, but so it's overly long. It doesn't need to be. I mean, there is fat that you could have cut off of this. Just extended sequences. Like what was the point of that entire sequence? Because they have a task in front of them, and it felt like a video game at times. Here's a task. Here's what we have to do. We have to get instead of a penny, we lost the penny, so we got to get a button. So the button will go here, but then we got to go, and to get another penny, we do this. And so many of these tasks seem like video game levels. That didn't seem like a story I cared about. Additionally, the emotional connection with Sam and this young girl from the orphanage just didn't land with me. Felt a little weird. That's why, like I said, the forever family thing like kind of threw me off. And my apologies. It's a term that I'm not familiar with. So Alan, thank you for that clarification. But it just, like between Sam and the cat, I just like, I was like, who is this? And it's not like adults can't enjoy this. I just thought that like kids are going to be bored. Little kids are going to be bored I mean, visually, there's some parts that are like, okay, that's kind of clever, but it really needed Lasseter with a stronger hand to say, nope, we're not doing it. We're going to keep it at this length. We have to like, it's one of those things where like, in Toy Story, you can look this up. Famously, they stopped filming the movie. They stopped filming, they stopped working on the film. They shut down basically to rework the script because it was a mess. It wasn't working. There's a version of that movie that exists that isn't the version that we saw. This is on all the behind the scenes too. This isn't like a story they tried to brush under the rug. They stopped making Toy Story to retool the script because it wasn't working. They should have done this here. There are some interesting ideas, but it's not fully formed. This needed a stronger John Lasseter to come in and say, not working, rewrite, change it. Nope, it's going to be this length. So for me, I think this movie's a pass. Yeah. I don't know if you've got an Apple card and you can get Apple TV Plus for free for 90 days, why not check it out? Yeah.
Or go see Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso's great. That's probably the best thing on Apple TV right now is Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I mean,
so I'm like negative on it. I think it's a pass for me. I wish no one else has reviewed this freaking movie. Just us.
Because I couldn't get through it.
I haven't seen anyone reviewing it, so I don't know what they're but for me this is just not, and if it came to theaters, I think it would have tanked.
Yeah.
So
I will say I was so excited to see this movie because it was the return of John Lasseter. And halfway through, I was so disappointed by this movie. I mean, literally yesterday when I got to the 50-minute mark, I just shut it off and I said, I can't finish this. And I wound up thinking I better finish it. So I saw the rest of it this morning, but I was almost going to come here today and just say I gave up on it halfway through. I think the concept of it is just inaccessible. It's well, I don't know that it's inaccessible, but I'm just finding zero connection with this idea of luck. And then the story itself, it does these things. It does this thing where, okay, the main character, Sam, she's the problem because she has no story arc here. She is an unlucky person who didn't get adopted in the system. And then 10 minutes into the film. And then we're in this whole tale about luck. And, the only reason we have any kind of emotional connection with this character is because she was in the foster care system and we feel bad for her, but that's not enough. You've got to somehow get us to emotionally attach ourselves to this character and want to go on this journey with her. And ultimately the journey that she goes on, not to spoil the ending, but it's this idea of, the place of good and bad luck in our lives. Right. She learns that lesson, and that's the tale of this movie. And I'm like, wow, an hour and 50 minutes. I barely made it 50 minutes, and this is the tale of the movie, literally, good and bad luck. And so it just fails in terms of having kind of an emotional impact on us. I think kids will find it boring because there's, okay, it's this crazy world of luck. Weird things happen. It's like Elf in a way. Conveyor belts, it's just so uninspiring. I think you were right. They've shut down productions for worse than this, right? Or for not as much as this. And it's just not a good movie. Not a good story at all.
Let's get to comments. Retro Nerd Girl says, it sounds like the film is doing too much. It might have done well to focus on orphans and adoption. Yes. Or they could have done a movie about luck and alternative fantasies.
Yeah, the whole adoption thing, they're literal bookends. They are 5-minute bookends, and everything that happens in the middle has nothing to do with adoption or foster care whatsoever.
Right. Nick Critic TV, I aged out of the foster care system in Canada. Alan ain't far off with his input. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. Amanda Nowicki, Apple TV is pushing their luck with luck. Haha. I'll see myself out now. Yes. Not the Batman. Apple is pushing their luck. A lot of those jokes. Script Doctor here brings it home. Luck is the theme of perseverance. Good luck or bad luck, don't let it control your life. So Willie Woodward for $4.99 says, Luck sounds like every Pixar movie except The Incredibles. It's not as good. It's not as good as the worst of Pixar. Although it might be, no, I don't know. How does it compare to Lightyear?
Well, I mean, the thing about Lightyear is they're on Mars. It's a very detailed environment. This one, when you get to Luckland, the detail is just not there. The production design is not there at all.
Bear Down Adam is a member. Yes, by the middle, they changed the rules. It's so stupid. They do that in a lot of movies, but I think what you do is you set up simple rules and just follow the rules. Last week, I had the opportunity, if you're a member, you got to see some pictures and video from when I went to see the LA Philharmonic play the score to Back to the Future with the movie live. It's a great thing at the Hollywood Bowl. I think I'm going to go see John Williams in September. It's an amazing event. And when I watched that movie, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect movie. They explain what the rules of time travel are. They add a couple little nuances, but you're kind of stuck with those rules. And there's a goal, right? The goal is that Marty he's basically fighting for his very existence by making sure his parents fall in love. Simple story. And I think the problem with Luck is it gets too convoluted. Yeah.
Well, it's that travel coin that she's trying to get back. I still don't understand what that is and why it's so important and why this whole movie centers on that one little coin.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more they could have done with it. They could have involved like what happened to her real parents and whatnot. Like, she's at the orphanage. Why didn't she get? I mean, I really feel like if they could have leaned into the emotional aspects, but it literally like starts with this little emotional thing. It's a bookend to the story, as you pointed out, Alan. And then like the middle of it is all these dumb little, task adventures. Yeah. So Wakizashi's Tia says, smash the like button and give Flaccid Phoenix a rub for Luck. Wait, really? I don't know if you should be doing that. Shelby AC is a member. 18 seems a little old in that case to me. I mean, I wouldn't Forever Family have bigger stakes if the protagonist was 8. Yeah, I mean, maybe 18, and she's like, okay, now you got to leave the orphanage. You're an adult now. It felt a little weird. Yeah,
but again, it all happens. That storyline happens at the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of the movie, and you have almost 2 hours in between that addresses none of it.
Yeah. Script Doctor says Luck overall is a fairly solid animated film, but the world they have was bigger than the story and needed more focus, but the characters did hit far better than the plot. I feel like if they'd focused on character, I mean, Back to the Future, which is arguably a perfect film. There's a short list. It might be less than 10 movies that are perfect movies. There's nothing you would change about them. You're emotionally moved every time you see it. My list may vary from your list, but Back to the Future is on many people's lists as a perfect film. This just really needed to lean into character rather than, all sorts of video game-like tasks. And Zachary Bloom says, I'd rather watch Joy Luck Club.
Yeah.
And, oh, wait, Jinx asks, is there a lesbian mother's kissing scene in the movie? Alan?
Oh, I wish I had it. Some really hot moms going at it.
Pete Dencat says, hey, if I didn't have bad luck, then I would have no luck at all. There you go. Well, I hear you. Does the girl become a degenerate gambler, says Zachary Bloom? No, that does not happen. Bear Down Adam saw it. Says Luck started strong, and by the middle, it's like, okay, they didn't know where to go, in my opinion. Yeah, and then Not the Batman says he didn't hug the project. Yeah, and Trav 101 points out the Gremlins only have 3 rules. See, this is what I mean. Like the best film concepts are just very simple. Introduce the concept. You can throw wrinkles in later. This usually always happens in the third act. Script Doctor can fill me in on that. But usually by the third act, they're throwing in some new rule we didn't know existed. This happened like 10 times in Thor: Love and Thunder. It's like, where the rules are going by so quick, I didn't catch, wait a sec, okay, so now all these kids have the power of Thor, but only for a limited time, but only because it's just this is dumb. It's dumb.
Matthew it's like a lightsaber fight. How do you kill someone with a lightsaber? The rule is still not set.
And then you can just drop and transport lightsabers. Is that like a Nightcrawler from X-Men powers? Stupid. Matthew Hammond for $4.99 says, how can Up grab our attention in the first 5 minutes? I defy you not to cry watching the first 5 minutes of Up. And by cry, I mean other people cry. I never cried, but other people may have. I'm sure Alan did.
I cried like a baby.
Well, there you go, because you cried as you were looking at the check from Disney going, why isn't this a larger check?
I know. But then again, after that emotional moment, it becomes this wacky jungle adventure.
Yeah, I always love when I see at like conventions, people cosplay as the Boy Scout character from Up. I love it. Yeah. It's great. How can Up grab our attention in the first 5 minutes, going through multiple emotions, and Luck cannot figure it out in 2 hours? Matthew, you're correct. It's unfortunate. But yeah, Luck is a pass for me. Very disappointing that John Lasseter being involved. I feel like he probably should have
taken his name off.
Maybe taking his name off and just said, look, this one's on you. Like he didn't, I felt like he probably came to the project too late and they weren't going to retool it or shut it down. The problem with this film is the script. It's not the quality animation
story.
fine.
It's the overall story too.
Story, the script, but like, look, animation's fine. Voice actors are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The talent, the technical people, they all did their jobs. It's really that story, that script, and really just not recognizing what the problems are. And unfortunately, I think it's very forgettable, really disappointing. So let's switch gears. Let's switch gears to a movie nobody even knew probably existed except for me.
And now I've seen it. So
yeah. We're gonna which is the best graphic?
I think that the one not that one, but the other one. Yeah, that one.
Should we do that one? This one? I don't know. It looks kind of okay. So the movie is called WIFELIKE. And WIFELIKE is now on Paramount Plus. Okay. So if you already have Paramount Plus, you probably didn't know that this was on here. And it's about a service where you can effectively go get a sex robot that will be your wife, implanting memories from your wife. And WIFELIKE, hey, they're lifelike, as the corporation in the movie is proud of saying. It's sort of a Stepford Wives movie because it kind of devolves into a thriller, like an action thriller, as the memories of the lead characters, like a former wife, begin to kind of some memories maybe that this wife-like they have to be charged. And what's interesting is when these sort of wife, they're like basically replicants or robots. They have to be charged. When they're being charged, they go into like a dream world, right, where they can interact with other people. It's a cheesy concept, and this is nothing more than a glorified Skinamax movie. There's like tons of nudity. There's like, you know, the wife in the movie takes a shower. There's excuses to get naked. She's wearing a loose-fitting robe or lingerie. She's walking around the house in high heels and lingerie. It was great. I mean, I'm not complaining about those parts. I'm saying
she was a very attractive woman. Yeah.
Who are the actors? We got to look up the actors because they're, to me, kind of like I feel like I've seen the lead guy in a film before.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is the lead guy.
And it's a movie that it's a movie that they used to make years ago. So I'm surprised. Who knows? This film might have been sitting on a shelf because it seems like there is zero woke about this movie at all for anyone that cares. It's a cheesy, low budget sci-fi thriller. Here's how I know. Can I tell you how I know it's low budget? This is a scene you will see in every low budget science fiction thriller is people fighting or running in the woods. When your setting is the woods, literally the woods, it speaks to me as like so cheap, because location to me, actors and location are budget, right? You got to get like good locations, good actors. That is production value. Increases your production value. So when you're having like these chase scenes just through the woods, sort of nondescript woods, it's not even interesting. That to me is lazy. So, but what interested me about this is, first of all, how offensive this could be to audiences that aren't familiar with the Skinamax genre. which is always just a dumb concept with an excuse for nudity. I mean, literally, it's nearly becoming an extinct or dead genre. I'll tell you what a dead genre is the teen sex comedy. Dead.
Oh yeah.
Dead. We'll never see another Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, you're not going to see it. It's going to be some woke garbage about, what people struggling with their emotions and this or whatever.
If you see the last American Pie movie, it describes exactly that. It's the female take. It's the female take of the American Pie. Stifler's sister is in this one.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it is, and it is everything you expect from a woke female perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and of course there's no nudity in it whatsoever.
Yeah, a weird image just in my mind. I'm thinking of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I got very distracted. Those were like a staple, like films like Porky's, the teen sex comedy. That is a genre that is literally dead today because of wokeness. It will never exist. A raunchy teen sex comedy, we'll never see one again. So what interested me about WIFELIKE is it's a throwback to a type of movie they just don't make anymore, right? It was always like late night. And it was sort of the dirty secret of HBO or Cinemax is they would play these movies late night when, on your cable, it's like, oh, you can always count on there's going to be some cheesy, dumb plot with an excuse to get naked. Is this a good movie? No, it's terrible. They're chase scenes through the woods. Was I entertained? Yeah, I was laughing at it because it was so stupid. So I can't recommend it as a good film. If you have Paramount Plus, you probably didn't even know that this was on Paramount Plus. And this will remind you of a genre of type of film they don't make. Alan, I can already tell you loved it, especially when I told you you had to watch it.
I mean, the nudity was great. I loved the nudity. And I will say this also. I really enjoyed the ending. But the problem is getting to the ending. Like with Luck, I almost gave up on this movie as well. The ending is, it's like I didn't see it coming. I thought it was clever in what it was trying to say in terms of a thriller. It had a lot of elements that I really liked and how it, but getting to it, it just felt like this really boring sci-fi. The acting in the beginning is so dry and so slow and so measured.
No, but wait. Okay, I think what you're talking about is the main lead. What is her name? The main lead?
It's Meredith.
No, but like, what's the
actress? Yeah, Elena Kampouris.
Yeah, I think she's really good.
Yeah,
I think she really leaned into I am a robot. It's not.
But then, then there's the real her, so to speak.
Right,
and the contrast is there, and it just, again, once you get to the ending, it all kind of works. But the lead up is problematic.
Oh, there's so much nudity to get to the lead up to this.
Well, thankfully, the nudity is to kind of help get you to that ending.
Look,
but the things that happen between the nudity is the problem.
Well, we need to see WIFELIKE 2. I think WIFELIKE 2. Wait, is WIFELIKE 2 words? I'm gonna have to.
No, it's one word. WIFELIKE is.
Are you sure it is?
It's weird. The IMDb says it's one word, but the poster looks like 2 words.
Whatever. Let's look at some comments here. Are you gonna, if you have Paramount Plus, are you gonna check out WIFELIKE? I'm recommending.
No.
I'm not giving it like a huge recommendation. I'm saying if you already have Paramount Plus and you're tired of Star Trek,
Yeah, I mean,
you might want to check it out.
The first 10 minutes will not disappoint for you.
Oh yeah, first 10 minutes. Solomon Thornton, is this a woke movie? I think we answered that. It is definitely not woke. It's a throwback to a type of movie they don't make. That's why it stood out to me because, I personally like bad exploitation movies. What can I say? I just learned today Ouija Shark 2 is coming out from Wild Eye Releasing.
Thank God.
Ouija Shark 2, a movie you didn't know you needed to see. Ouija Shark 2 is coming. So when I saw this thing, Wifelike, I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's just a throwback to a type of movie they don't make. I don't think there's anything woke about it. Alan, am I wrong?
Like, I don't. I mean, can a woke movie have female nudity in it?
Not nudity that's exploitative, unless I don't know. I just don't think there's nothing overtly woke about it. Again, it seems like a movie that was made in a vacuum.
Yeah. Well, look at Sharp Stick. That just came out. Lena Dunham. It's about a teenager. But no nudity, and it is woke as hell, and it's all about female sexual, awakenings.
Oh wait, and who made the movie?
Lena Dunham.
I will never see that movie.
Yeah,
so there you go. Jillian N, who's a member? You should join as a member. You get to see more stuff. Some kind of Stepford Wives thing. Did they try to wokeify that? No. I think we answered, but thank you for that, Jillian. Want Biscuits. That graphic smacks to the Stepford Wives. Yes, it has elements of Stepford Wives, but it is not Stepford Wives.
Yes.
Andrew Odette, wife-like is the word I used to describe Alan when you show those shirtless videos. Yeah, wife-like. Destiny Captain says, I think The Good Dinosaur was far superior to Inside Out the year they both came out.
Hey, let me say something about Good Dinosaur. That's an example of a Pixar movie that was scrapped midway through the process and then redone.
Really?
Yeah. So Pixar is still willing to scrap bad stories. And, I think ultimately it was an okay movie.
And Jillian N says, this sounds like Alan's OnlyFans. And D Subversion says, good old Skinamax, lol. But think about that. There are certain genres. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, they don't make Westerns anymore. Or if they do, they make a Western that kind of inverts or reinvents itself. Something like a Dances with Wolves, which I believe was 1991, if I recall correctly. And I actually quite like Dances with Wolves. It's basically Avatar. So, you could even compare it in some ways to Dune. We'll have that discussion one of these days. But yeah, it's just interesting when you recognize, like, oh my God, like this genre doesn't exist. Skinamax was a genre.
Yeah, I think Full Moon Features is probably the closest thing you'll find to Skinamax.
Yeah, but even Full Moon tends to lean more into horror and gore than they do into nudity. Although Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl, we got to get Jim Wynorski on the show. He's on my list of like directors I want to get on the show so we can all talk. Got to get Jim on the show. Spidey Sensei 72 says tons of nudity equals sold. Hell yeah. CD Stein 69 for $4.99 says saw this trailer the other day when watching the Evil series on Paramount. Just looked like an after midnight version of Stepford Wives. Yeah, it kind of is. Matthew Hammond for $9.99 says, have you talked about Margot Robbie replacing Johnny Depp as the lead in Pirates of the Caribbean? Compare the DVD cover of the Prawn Pirates and the picture released by the studio of Margot as a pirate. I am familiar with that Pirates movie. It was put out, I believe, by Vivid Entertainment. They did an adult version, which had, adult scenes of sex. Then they did it. It was one of the biggest budget adult films ever made called Pirates. And they then did an R-rated version that had sort of like suggested nudity and some nudity, but the sex was all cut out because it was
because it had a redeeming story. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, well, I think that Margot Robbie story was something that was floated out there. I think everyone thinks that's a terrible idea. Everyone. I mean, I think that's awful. What I'm looking forward to is seeing, I don't know, Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. I'm interested to see how Lady Gaga takes on that role, the musical Joker 2. So, yeah.
So you can replace Black Panther, but you can't replace Jack Sparrow. That's what you're saying?
You cannot. I don't think that's ever going to happen. The Margot Robbie. Never going to happen. Nope. If anything, they'll bring back Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
They'll bring back Johnny Depp. They'll find a way to do it. Luther Talbot for $2. I think I'll just watch Cherry 2000. Cherry 2000. Google that. Google Images that. Southeastern Kaiju. Number 1, RRR. Number 2, Ouija Shark 2. I didn't bring up RRR. Somebody did in the chat. Wasn't me. And Toyo. Silk Stockings, Forever Night, La Femme Nikita. There's a whole genre of Canucksploitation TV shows that seems to have died out. Yeah, it's weird. Like that, literally, that like so many things like died in movies after like Me Too and kind of woke after 2016. There just was this shift, and that's why I think WIFELIKE is worth discussing. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm saying like, oh, this is a type of movie we never see. We never see. Look, Flaccid Phoenix, who's a member, almost 300 in the chat. Slap that like button. Yeah, slap it, and we'll, you'll get to see little videos like, wait, I got to bring up, what's a video we have? Oh, this one. Zachary Bloom says happy ending ? Can't say. You need to see it.
Yep.
Gillian N says it was created by the next Tommy Wiseau. Love Tommy Wiseau. So there you go. And Andrew Odette says They Them is a raunchy teen comedy. Wink. We're going to talk about They Them next. But there you go. Thank you for all your comments. Let's switch gears here, Alan.
All right.
Let's switch gears. Let me get the branding up here, because it helps Flaccid Phoenix when he cuts the clips to just see like other stuff.
Change the background and
change the background. Here we go. Boom. All right. They Them. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Wait. See if you can do that.
Yeah, I can do it.
No, you can kind of do it. There you go. Okay, now move your head just a little bit.
I look like the pig characters from Twilight Zone.
There you go.
Yeah.
So They Them is a horror film about a gay conversion camp. A bunch of kids who happen to be gay. They're gay males, gay women, and there are non-binary gendered individuals that go to this camp. And Kevin Bacon actually gives this very, very like interesting, nice speech at the end. He's the good guys on your side. I'm not trying to make you not gay. He goes on and gives this entire speech about like being yourself, and we'll just get to know, better get to know yourself. You are who you are. I'm not trying to change you. But you find out that behind the scenes, they're definitely trying to change people using methods that could be considered torture. So at this camp, and look, summer camp is a familiar setting for a horror film. So I'm not surprised. But the opening scene of this movie, which is really weird, looks like it was just completely shot against a green screen, like at a studio, very cheap, out on a dangerous road in the middle of the woods. But so all these kids show up at this camp, and they're told to kind of like go from, we've got like, you can stay with the boys, you can stay with the girls. Come to find out later that some of the people may have gone to the wrong place. The wrong, some of the people that would, exactly. It's revealed in the shower is all I'm going to say. But this is a typical slasher film at a summer camp where characters are being offed one by one by some murderous person in a mask. It all takes place at this camp. All the characters happen to be gay. At least all the kids attending the camp are gay. And it's freaking laughable, this movie. It's so, is it woke? Yes. It's so overly woke. It's kind of laugh out loud funny. Like, is this, I wondered to myself, am I seeing it this way? Am I laughing because this feels like satire to me because it's so laughable? Or are they being earnest and genuine, and I'm laughing where I shouldn't be laughing? Okay. So in any case, this is a movie you've seen a million times before. A bunch of characters are offed. Who is the masked person stabbing and killing people in gruesome ways? Well, it's revealed at the end. I'm not going to reveal. I'm not going to give away the ending.
We don't want.
But it's not going to surprise anybody. Kevin Bacon is not who he seems to be. But I don't think this film takes any particular risks. It's totally trying to pander to wokeness in a way that is so overt. Like I said, for me, I just thought it was funny. Where like things sort of go from one end to the other so far that it comes full circle where it's just laughable. It's just laughable. It's like so woke. It's just sort of, it's like a parody version of what of what they think people who are woke want to see in a horror film. So I will say this, way more entertaining than Bodies. Okay. There are creative deaths. Like, I like the summer camp genre of people getting killed with a masked murderer. I like that genre. There's a reason it's sustained to today. There's a reason they're making, Halloween Ends. Okay. There's a reason for that. The reason this is a genre that's sustained, but it's on Peacock right now, and I believe it is free with ads. So I don't know what your thoughts are. I think it's laughable and ridiculous. Is it a movie I would recommend? No. If you see it for free and you suffer through the ads, fine. Is it a movie? And this should be a genre. There's got to be a shorter way of saying this. This is a movie I would watch while I'm folding my laundry. And by watch, I mean I would let it play in the background and have and sort of catch the highlights of it. That's what it's good for. And it's like a lot of things that we see on streaming now. Is it great? No. Does it suck? I don't know that it sucks. I just thought it was funny because they actually made a horror film, they, them. Now, my understanding is, and you can look this up, Alan. Please look it up. Everyone hates this movie. People who are woke hate this movie because they, see that it's pandering, and it's not, and it's like, it's not doing it right. It's not doing it right. And then there are people that are, don't like wokeness, that don't like the fact that this movie was just even made, right? So I don't know. Just there's a lot of comments on social media about this film. If you've seen the movie, I'd love to hear your comments. Let's go to the chat and see what people are saying. Script Doctor, great to have you here, Script Doctor. One day we have to create a show where we can have like more people on the show. Yeah. I want to pick your brain about a bunch of stuff. But yeah, this movie is 30% from the critics. And the critics, this is the type of movie that is the kind of movie that is pandering to critics that like that stuff. 14% on the audience score. But they, them should have been opposite to what it was, says Script Doctor. And I'm going to see if I get this right. 218. Is it 218 in Roman numerals?
218. That's right.
218 became a YouTube member. Thank you for that. Zio Reimer says, I wish they slashed them.
So was there any, let's just assume that the creators were super woke. Was there at least any creativity in terms of their commentary on gay conversion camps and Christians? And
yeah, it's everything you would think. Gay conversion camps are, bad and evil to try to change people from who they are.
Invoking the name of God all the time.
That kind of stuff. It's very, very. Once they get into it, you discover it's, there's more to it than that. There's a couple interesting scenes. One of I forget the name of the lead character, which is a non-binary, they, them. The lead. What do you call an? I guess you'd say actor, if they're a they, them, right?
Yeah.
Isn't actor a gender neutral term?
Yeah, but mostly for men.
Right, mostly for men, but it's gender neutral. So where they're shooting guns, which is like they try to do traditional things that men would do. So they have like a gun range. Then they have traditional things that women would do. So they're baking pies, right? And of course the they, them is very good at shooting guns, which may come into play. And then there's a scene where they like attach electrodes to someone's chest, and they're looking at images of sexy women, sexy guys, and then trying to electrify the gay away, so to speak. Everybody. So it's not gotten great reviews, and I can't give it a good review, except that I thought if you go into it with the right attitude, it's stupid and laughable. Everything about this movie is kind of just dumb. So it fits a category of a film I like I can't believe they made this movie. Like I cannot believe they actually made this film. So yeah. Holy Hand Grenade says film threat / script doctor collab. I'm in. We got to figure out a way to do it. CD Stein 69 says to Solomon Thornton, the sequel should be called The She-It. And CD Stein 69 says, knowing Hollywood, I'm pretty sure it wasn't created as satire. They actually believe they're doing the heavy lifting for the cause. No, I mean they believe that, but I think that the intended audience that they thought would embrace the film did not. Seems that they don't like the film. Script Doctor, the kids at the camp and they them reminded me of the kids from the movie Camp 2003. Zachary Bloom says Ezra Miller cameo. And Script Doctor says,
we don't want to spoil the ending there.
I'll do a collab with Chris and Alan. Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Bad Adam 12 for 10 says, hope you give enough advance notice to interviewing Wynorski. You probably could interview the director of the documentary Papatopoulos, the docu about Wynorski. Love Wynorski films. Yeah, we'll definitely give people a heads up. Problem is that we're trying to schedule a lot of these things with filmmakers, and and just as a little housekeeping note, we had originally scheduled to have the director of Alex's War, which is the documentary about Alex Jones, on the podcast on Friday. That is now being rescheduled to the fall when the Blu-ray comes out. So we're going to get to that, but a lot of it is scheduling and promotional windows and whatever. But we do have coming on the show on Friday the director of I Love My Dad.
Oh, hey.
Which is the Patton Oswalt comedy. Jim Morricone is his name.
I think it's Morricone.
Morricone. James Morricone. He is the lead actor and the writer-director of I Love My Dad. Going to be here on Friday because the movie is coming out on digital. So we're trying to bring you directors that you'll have direct access to so you can ask them questions. Bethel Games says superhero : Electro Pens. And Script Doctor says they them should have been a satire that challenged all the arguments of the pronouns, and those arguments should have terrified the they thems to earn the horror genre instead of sad comedy. It is sort of devolves into sad comedy just because it just falls into cliche. It's literally like they took an AI wrote the outline for the script and then they just filled it in with lines.
Did you ever see Karen the movie?
I did see Karen the movie.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was like it wasn't. She wasn't a Karen. She was just a super racist woman, and they completely left out what Karens really are, and that would have been a much more interesting movie than just racist woman.
Right. And here we go. Want Biscuit says big nope to they them, and Andrew Odette, Kevin they can. Kevin Bacon. All right. Could have done that there. Solomon Thornton says they / them equals the message, which is a critical drinker thing. It's not, I don't know that like, I mean, yeah, I guess the message is there, but it's so obvious. It's not, there's nothing surprising or nuanced about it. It's like gay people should be allowed to be gay. And so what? That's basically the message of the movie. Yeah. Gay conversion camps are bad. Okay. And
it's like when someone mentions Trump, all it does is to trigger anxiety and fear, and it's just a lazy way of telling a story at that point.
Exactly. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary if you've already got Peacock, and I feel like a lot of people don't. It's $4.99 a month or free with ads, I think.
I think it's $8. I don't know. I think I'm paying $8. I mean, like I said, I get Peacock just because.
Wait, you're paying for it? You didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Alan, how dare you?
I know, but I was already into WWE. I was already paying for that, and now I get all this Peacock content with my WWE. So,
right. Well, look, I'm going to switch gears here for a second. We're going to talk about another topic. But Alan, if you could just keep going through the chat.
Yeah, actually, this super chat just came in from Deano, £5. Kevin Bacon was the first victim in the first Friday the 13th. Maybe they got him to sign up by saying he was starring in a reboot. Because Kevin Bacon does reboots. Let me see, what else do I have? Patton Oswalt does comedy now. Yeah, he does.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. This is one of the funniest movies of the year.
Yeah.
I Love My Dad. It really is. Look up the trailer. Even better, don't look up the trailer. It's coming. It's in theaters now. It's coming on video on demand. It's super good.
The less you know, the less
you know, the better. And also, by the way, he's an asshole in the movie. He plays an incredible asshole.
So he's not stretching himself at all.
Is like if you don't like Patton Oswalt, fine. It's fine. You can not like Patton Oswalt. It's he's an asshole. He's a jerk in this film and does loathsome, terrible things. Look, Tony G, he says if Patton Oswalt wasn't trash, I would watch the movie. I look, I agree with you. I just don't. I'm not on Twitter all that much. I use Twitter. I post in Ghost, or I'll post in Ghost, or I just promote my stuff. I'm not active on Twitter. I don't get into arguments with people, and I in particular don't look at what celebrities or actors are saying all that much.
Yeah, it'll disappoint you.
This movie is just, it's so good, and it's not. I mean,
Wrong.
It's so wrong. It's so
cringy. Yes.
It's so cringy. And it's not. There's nothing woke about it. It's just a great concept. But I want to talk about something like, I keep trying to create a banner for this.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. Alan needs to get into Japanese pro wrestling. Yeah, if I don't have to pay for it, I would get into it. RMFX wouldn't have spotted Alan as a WWE fan. Yeah, I've been watching since my youth, since pre WrestleMania days. Alan's hairy ass, LOL. Alan likes wrestling. Yeah, wrestling, honestly, best storytelling you can find is in wrestling. And then Infinite Main, so he plays himself. Yes, Patton Oswalt is not stretching himself whatsoever in I Love My Dad. CD Stein 69 got Peacock mainly because of the Northman streamed on that. Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was a
well, this is something
universal.
We have a special guest joining us shortly in about 10 minutes, but I wanted to talk about real quick just a topic that interests me, mainly because I just want to I want to get this out into the ether. And that is this. Should the Sundance Film Festival 2023 move to the spring? Let me just say, first of all, for the last 2 years, 2021 and 2022, the Sundance Film Festival has taken place in January, except it was canceled at the last minute both times. So the film festival has been virtual the past 2 years. I have friends who are filmmakers who they don't want their movies to premiere virtually. Virtually just means people are watching it streaming and dealing with technical issues while they try to watch films coming out of Sundance. And I wonder if the sort of badge of honor of having a film play at the Sundance Film Festival means anything anymore. After 2 years of going virtual, if the Sundance Film Festival for the third year in a row in January 2023 cancels at the last minute, I believe that this will become a dead festival. What needs to happen, and there's time to do this, which is why I'm doing this video now. Why I'm doing this video now is there is time to move the Sundance Film Festival from January into maybe April or the summer. Why? Why is this important? The Sundance Film Festival kicks off festival season. It is a very influential film festival in the sense that a lot of independent movies premiere there and then are programmed at other festivals, South by Southwest, Tribeca, etc. It kind of kicks off festival season. It's very important for independent filmmakers. But independent filmmakers are not going to be satisfied with having their movies just premiere virtually. Additionally, January is the height of flu season. I can't tell you how many times I've returned from Sundance, and I've been going since the 90s, where I've returned from Sundance and I was sick. Deathly sick. That's why I got the flu shot. I've gotten the flu shot for the last 20 years to avoid getting super sick at Sundance. And I know a lot of my friends, it's a marathon doing Sundance. will get sick going to that festival. And let's face it, certain types of viruses are never going away. They're just never going away. They're never going to go away. So having people fly from all over the world into Park City, Utah in January during the height of cold and flu season when people get sick is a terrible idea. And to preserve the Sundance Film Festival so that it can continue all the good work it does supporting independent filmmakers, it needs to move. This festival needs to move into the spring, the summer. Look, I've been to Park City during the spring and the summer. Beautiful. It's one of the few places in the world I like. The air is so different than Southern California. It's stunning, beautiful mountains. Just it's a lot to do. And here's the thing: the argument, it's like, well, the Sundance Film Festival basically started because they would basically get executives from the major studios to come to Park City, Utah in January because they like to ski. Okay, so they kind of coerce studio executives to go to Sundance to ski. You know, when they changed the name of the festival I believe it was 1989. They changed the name from the United States Film Festival to the Sundance Film Festival when Robert Redford was more involved, right? And they would just get studio executives to come out to go to ski because skiing was a fun thing that a lot of rich people like to do. Let's face it, right? I was not in the ski club. Couldn't afford it as a kid. My family couldn't afford it, but whatever. If it's a way to get studio executives out and they'll maybe catch an indie film or two that they may buy, that's great. That was the reason that the Sundance Film Festival took place during the height of ski season in Park City, Utah, was to coerce studio executives to come out. Nobody goes there to ski anymore. Other than a couple filmmakers I know that like to snowboard, and my friend Anthony Ray Bench, who likes to snowboard, who's attended Sundance, no one's there to ski. The slopes are pretty empty. If you want to go to ski, they're going to be pretty empty with a bunch of nerdy filmmakers in town. Okay, so in order for the film festival to continue, they have to move the festival. I think if Sundance decides at the last minute through influence from people in Park City, Utah, you know, from the local businesses, from whoever, like, you got to move this festival to save it. I don't know what your thoughts are, Alan, but I feel very strongly about this. That's why I'm doing this video. Sundance has always been about supporting indie filmmakers that may have movies that are difficult to market, right? These are not like a lot of the movies that play Sundance are not particularly commercial, but there's an audience out there, and the championing of these movies from the attending critics and from people in the indie film sphere, so to speak, it's an important film festival. It's in my book as one of the top 10 film festivals in the world. My book, The Ultimate Film Festival Survival Guide. But what I've concerns about is if they do virtual again in 2023, there's no point in continuing this. You've ruined the festival. Maybe you go twice a year. Maybe you do, but you have to change, because Sundance kind of sets the calendar, right? In January, kicks it off. Festival directors go there looking for movies to program. This is not going to work if this continues. Alan, what are your thoughts? You attended Sundance actually in 2020.
Yeah, the last one that was actually happening. You know, and I will say this, because we talk about it. Do you want to go Sundance or South by? And I always say South by because I hate going to Sundance solely because of the weather. I just don't do well. You know, I was buying so many drugs before going there just to make sure I could breathe and not get a cold. There's so much going on other than seeing the films that you know, it just almost doesn't make it worth it for me. The other thing is it's in January, the beginning of the year, you know, where awards don't mean anything, where, you know, and I feel like that kind of affects the quality of the movies that actually do make it to Sundance. Because I'm trying to think, I'm not sure that any of the real award contenders were even at Sundance that year. You it just seems from a convenience standpoint, from a business standpoint, that having it in the spring, maybe, you don't want it to collide too much with South by, but, or maybe position itself as the more upscale film festival. But it just doesn't, that time, the weather, it seems to make sense to move it. I totally agree with you.
Okay, good. I just think at a certain point, it's, in order to save the festival, they've got to make some big moves. I'd like to go to your comments here real quick.
Oh, and then I will also say it's much more beautiful in the spring than it is in the winter.
It is. Infinite Main says, is that before or after monkeypox season? Commander Crichton, move it into a landfill. Solomon Thornton says, Robert Redford is in charge of Sundance, right? No, not in charge. I mean, it's run by...
No, he's advisory now.
He's advisory, but he was one of the founders, and he felt very strongly. I mean, what a lot of people don't understand is Sundance was kind of this think tank to try to get these filmmakers who they didn't call them independent films. They called them regional movies. Okay. These were small independent movies made by like people like John Sayles, who made a film called Return of the Secaucus 7. And what Sundance was trying to do was to get these filmmakers to go, okay, wait. We know you have the money to make the movie. Stop making the movie. And they did this retreat, and they would bring in these independent filmmakers, and they would workshop their scripts. Quentin Tarantino, famously, he workshopped his script for Reservoir Dogs. If you've got one of the Reservoir Dogs DVDs on some of the behind the scenes stuff, the BTS features on the Reservoir Dogs DVD, you'll see some VHS shot footage of like Steve Buscemi and others reading the script for Reservoir Dogs, because he workshopped the script at the Sundance Institute, which was a retreat for filmmakers to go and actually meet with Hollywood screenwriters who would help them better develop the screenplays, right? Screenplays, paper's cheap, right? So developing a script, this was the problem with Luck, which we talked about earlier, right? They should have stopped working on the movie and worked on that script, worked out that story, because it didn't work. As much as Script Doctor will say it mostly worked, it didn't for many of us who saw it. Script Doctor will shout out to Script Doctor, subscribe to his channel. So the purpose of the Sundance Institute was to help filmmakers make better movies by working on the least expensive part, which was the screenplay. Work on it for another year. Get feedback from Hollywood screenwriters who are working in the industry to get that, like, notes. Notes is, especially for filmmakers or an artist, notes is kind of what you need. It's the air you need it to live. You've got to get feedback to improve your work, and that's what Sundance was originally founded upon. So it's to me, it's still a very important festival, but I have issues with Sundance. And one of the issues is they're going to kill the festival if they don't move it. Not the Batman says Sundance was really a place for studio execs to bring their mistresses. I don't know anything about
maybe.
Andrew Odette, is it smart to move it? Yes. Will they? No. Especially not for the virus that shall not be named. The powers that be care more about showing how health conscious they are by enforcing the rules. Yeah, it's I know, like, basically it's about virtue signaling now, which is why, you still see so many people in masks. I mean, look, I understand if you have, if you're predisposed to things, hey, wear a mask. I'm not going to shame you. But I feel like there's a lot of people I see wearing masks outdoors that I don't think is not necessary right now. We're going to get through.
I think they shut it down last year because they were afraid people weren't going to show up, that Hollywood wasn't going to be there. And
right.
I think they caved into that threat.
Right. Well, we've got a bunch of questions here. Our special guest is waiting in the wings. We're going to bring Michael on very shortly. He's being patient with us, but right now we're going to get through all these chat questions over the next few minutes, and then let's bring Michael on the show. A hacker called 4chan says, I'm secretly in love with Alan.
Oh.
Don't tell anybody. Womp Biscuit says, Chris's recent rant about Sundance, that it's now overrun by rich snobs, was great. Doesn't surprise me that it is. Yeah, let me just go into that just for a second. I used to sort of, in this weird idealistic version of me from like the early 90s, like thought that like Sundance was everybody was Kevin Smith, just a guy who like sold his comic book collection for a bunch of money, charged a bunch on credit cards so he could make his little movie Clerks, which then was, sold at Sundance, legendarily sold to Harvey Weinstein with a contract written on a napkin, which is a true story. There's a very good documentary about that called The Snowball Express. Is it The Snowball Express? Something like that. Excuse me, The Snowball Effect. The Snowball Effect is the name of that documentary. In any case, I used to naively think it's that, but then you come to find out that it's mostly just the sons and daughters of rich people. It's mostly art welfare. It's mostly the sons and the daughters of the rich who basically are like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'll be a filmmaker. And they raise money from their family and make a movie for a couple $1 million. So I naively thought, and this, I'll tell you how this happened. I would ask filmmakers like, well, how did you raise the money for the movie? And I'd hear like, oh, they would evade the question. And because I always find those stories really fascinating, like how you raise it. Crowdfunding is mainly the answer now. But yeah, a lot of stuff at Sundance is, for the most part these days, is rich, virtue signaling, elitists. That's what it's devolved into. So there you go. Holy Hand Grenade says, hey, lol, Alan with no hesitation says, I'm not going.
Yeah, I would much rather go to South by than Sundance.
South by Southwest is fun. South by Southwest is fun. Even though South by has gotten overly woke lately, really woke. If you look at their programming and panels, I kind of roll my eyes. It's sort of the
Sundance
cringe.
is not that much different, honestly.
Sundance isn't different, but at least it felt more accepting. Now it's like, we don't want certain people. I don't like that. I think that we should all have conversations together. Alexander Love says, I think film festivals in general are a dying concept. Unfortunately, Alexander, I would agree with you. As a guy who wrote 4 editions of a book about film festivals, the reason is that the access to distribution is much easier. The pathway for a filmmaker to getting a movie distributed, much easier today than it used to be. Okay. And if you've got a movie that has an audience, you don't need a film festival. If you got look, Attack of the Doc, which is going to be coming out this fall, which is a documentary about Attack of the Show and G4 TV. I'm just putting it out now. I have been invited to a couple film festivals. Do I need to play them? No, but I'm going to play them just as a way to kind of help promote the movie. But I feel like my documentary already kind of has a built-in audience. We'll see. Just a few more comments here. CD Stein 69 is a member and says Sundance needs to move to April to happen just before the summer rush of blockbuster season. That would be smart. John Odom says, you haven't seen what I've seen, man. Utah, height of flu season. Nobody should have to do a marathon like that in those conditions, man. But the brass, safe in their offices, didn't care about us grunts. True. Andrew Odette says it's a smart move, but they won't because they care more about expressing the perception that they are health conscious, a certain virus, than they do about independent films. Yeah, we're health conscious about a certain virus. Regarding a certain virus. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's I just get the feeling, yeah, it's not gonna change. And they're gonna cancel it at the last minute because the numbers are up. Watch, I'm predicting this now. We're still in the summer of 2022, and I'm predicting this is gonna happen. We're gonna spin this off into its own separate video. Want to make sure that this gets out there. But
although it'll say a lot if they actually do have it then,
Hey, there are 300 people watching live as we do this. And if you smash that like button, you're going to be rewarded with something like this. Damn you, Alan. One last one. All right. Enough goofing on each other. Let's get right to it here. He was on the show earlier. In a previous episode, you can look up our interview with Michael B. Chait, who is here. He is the director of Wolfhound, which is, look, if you like Top Gun Maverick, you're gonna like Wolfhound. Okay, if you like high flying planes, World War II, this is it, and it's out. It's out on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is here. Look at that. Look at that. It's nothing better than a fresh Blu-ray. Look at this. Love it. Love it, folks. And the director is here today. Let's bring him on the show. Michael B. Chait is here from, I'm going to assume from Michigan, Michael.
That's right, from Metro Detroit, from the suburbs of Detroit, and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me back. And I'm still trying to process those videos you played of each other a minute ago.
We just goof on each other and have a good time. It's a lot of fun. But I
can tell.
But we're happy to have you back on the show. The movie was released theatrically. It is now out on Blu-ray. I assume there are a ton of special features because it says right on the Blu-ray here that you sent me that the special features are on it. What was the reaction to the film? It was released theatrical. Now it's out on, I assume, both digital and Blu-ray. How did people respond to the film, especially with like? So you got to be pleased that something like Top Gun Maverick, #1 movie of the year, and this is it's certainly in the same kind of genre.
No, I mean, I'm still pinching myself. First of all, that Lionsgate released it theatrically. We were given 2 weeks in North America, and I don't have to tell you guys, like in this current climate, like in 2022, that's humongous for any movie. Aside from like the tent poles, which will stay there for a long time, but especially, a little movie that was trying to do something big and ambitious like ours. I can't thank them enough. It actually, from what I was told, like it overperformed what they were expecting for the theaters that we had. And the release on Amazon, I'm not trying to just throw like stats at you here, but we've been in the top 25 new movies on Amazon Prime Video for 9 weeks straight. And that makes like almost no sense to me, but I'm just very happy about it. And like the people at Grindstone and Lionsgate are thrilled. I think a few of them are scratching their heads too, but it's a dream come true. Honestly, there has been like kind of a polarizing reaction with critics and with audiences. And I was very surprised. There are a lot of people that love the movie and have contacted me or in person, seen me and said like, "Oh my God, I loved it." And like, "This is so cool." And got what we were doing, which was trying to combine our love of 80s and 90s action movies that we grew up with the golden age of Hollywood, World War II movies. And those people really love it. And that's the majority of people. Then there's other audiences that have not been as happy because it wasn't a documentary. And we never claimed it was a documentary. We never claimed it was going to be a gritty, monochromatic, like Saving Private Ryan or something that was like so real that it's realer than real and grittier than gritty. Like, it's a fun action movie. And so, I haven't really had a big response to some of the people that have thought like, "Oh, we didn't expect it to be this," except like, well, this is exactly what we wanted to make. And I hope you can appreciate at least some of it. But overall, it's been really, really positive.
And I got to mention, we do have a Blu-ray to give away. So what's the hashtag for the giveaway, Alan?
Hold on.
Alan's going to be working on that.
Yeah, let me work.
Throw it up on the bottom of the screen. But I know we've got we've got a bunch of questions for you in the chat. We'll get to the chat questions real quick. We'll throw up the hashtag for the giveaway. We should probably just use hashtag Wolfhound. How about that?
Yeah, but don't do it right now.
Don't do it right now. Just wait until Alan gives you the word. That way we'll randomly pick a winner of the Blu-ray and get that sent. I'm told that your publicist is going to send out the Blu-ray for us. So appreciate that. But I do want to ask you, just because what I think our audience is really responsive to is getting advice from indie filmmakers. I'm sure you yourself, when you before you had made your first films, you know, looked up like, how did you get to where you are? Well, can you tell us, like, if you had like one piece of advice to give a friend of yours who's going off to make their first, you know, independent film, whether it's a short or a feature, what would be the one piece of advice you would give that person?
Well, I'll give you the short answer because the long answer, I could literally talk about it for the entire time I'm on your show.
Right.
But honestly, and this is advice that was given to me by everybody from Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek, who's one of my favorite directors, who I'm lucky to like be. He's a mentor of mine. To Sam Raimi, who I met while I was in college. He was shooting Spider-Man 2 in Chicago. And myself, and this is from experience, never let anybody kill the fire and passion and drive that made you want to make a movie in the first place. If you let that happen, if you take no for an answer, or if you get discouraged, if you get really bummed out and like too down because of rejection or so many people saying no, like for one yes in the film business, you have to get like 1,000 no's. So like just never let that fire go out. Never let your passion for storytelling, for filmmaking, regardless of what you want to make. If you want to make a movie about a few people in a room, you know, talking, that's fine. If you want to make an epic action movie, that's fine too. It's just like you'll get there as long as you keep pursuing it and you don't lose that passion. And I know it might sound a little corny, but like that is legit the best advice anyone gave me and the best advice I could give.
Let's go to some questions in the chat and some comments
Well,
here.
the hashtag is active, by the way. So
The hashtag is active. So right now, all you got to do is do hashtag Wolfhound to be, and it's continental United States. So continental US to kind of mail you the blue. So sorry, overseas viewers, our apologies. We'll do some overseas viewer eligible giveaways in the future. But Tommy Reviews for 2 says, bought my copy of Wolfhound. And Akanika says, glad to see Michael again. And
Glad to see you too.
congratulations.
Hi.
Yeah. Trav 101 says, congratulations, Michael. Zach says, that's awesome. Congratulations. And then Tommy Reviews says for 2 says, Michael also sold me on Sub-Zero being in the film. So there you go.
Oh yeah, yeah. John Turk, he plays the big main evil Nazi villain, and it's the best acting he's ever done by far, in my humble opinion. So I'm thrilled Sub-Zero's in our movie as well.
Nice. Let's see some questions here. Here we go. Solomon Thornton asks, what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Oh my God. I think my favorite scene to shoot, not to give anything away, but there is a very dramatic moment where a certain gigantic flag of a certain type of bad guys gets lit on fire and goes up in flames and burns kind of very emotionally and majestically as the good guys are kicking a lot of ass. And I would say that's up there. That was like a very surreal, like it was a big moment. We really did it. And it was a powerful story moment. And again, as a Jewish director, I was just like, yes. I think that was like, in terms of action, that was up there. In terms of like an emotional scene, I won't give it away, but it's the final scene in the film with James Maslow at the controls of a B-25 bomber, and the very climactic action moment. I got chills when we were shooting that. I think the rest of the crew did too. And I will leave it at that because otherwise it'll totally spoil it. But I'd say those are my favorite action moment and my favorite character moment.
Cool. We got some more questions here. CD Stein 69, who's a member. Thank you for that. What is a movie you want to create that we don't see in cinema today?
Well, actually, I can't say too much about this, but we're working on a possible Western right now. And that's something that the way that you don't normally see it, kind of the same way we did Wolfhound, blending like the classic Sergio Leone, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and like the classic John Ford or Howard Hawks movies with something much more high tech and like ultra modern in the style, in the making, and something more fun. There's been a lot of like, a good friend of mine, Liz, she calls the genre like grimdark everything. It's like everything is so damn depressing and just like too real. It's like so gritty. It's like we want to make something fun again, like when you grew up watching westerns. And that'd be one. And actually, there's a few video games I want to adapt, hopefully. But if I say it, someone will beat me to it. So I'm gonna just like keep my mouth shut on that.
Some other questions here. Michael, what are some of your director influences? Asks Trav 101.
Okay, this is easy. In no particular order: James Cameron, John Woo, Ridley and Tony Scott, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, John McTiernan, definitely Sam Raimi, Russell Mulcahy, who did the original Highlander, Jonathan Frakes with First Contact from 1996. I think that's like my go-to list. I could name more, but like those are definitely the big ones. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael Bay. Michael Bay,
nice.
Especially for The Rock.
Trav 101 says Westerns are making a comeback. I would agree with that. Lubitsch touched me. He says, you mentioned the film was inspired by the 80s and 90s, as well as the golden age of Hollywood. Could you name some titles from those eras that most influenced you?
Well, I'm assuming this is for Wolfhound.
Yeah.
And I would say in terms of overall movies, I mean, Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time. Stuff from the 80s like Rambo 2 and 3, Black Rain that Ridley Scott did from 1989, The Rock, Bad Boys 1 and 2. Then I think from the golden age, I would say like Battle of Britain, which I can still consider golden age. That's 1968 or 1969. And then movies like, oh God, like 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, The Longest Day, which is I think one of the best war movies ever made. And yeah, I'd say that's a good selection that made sense.
Trav 101, T2 is amazing. Michael, you have great taste.
Thank
Infinite
you.
Name, First Contact, by far the best TNG film. I would agree. And Zach says, please make an HBO series out of Red Dead Redemption 2. It's all right there. Yeah, I would agree. Like, I feel like there's a hunger when you look at movies that are succeeding at the box office now and succeeding on streaming. It's back to your classic storytelling. I feel like as much as like, the superhero genre and Marvel had its heyday, I kind of feel like that's done. It's over for a lot of people. I think there's superhero fatigue. Not that they're, I happen to like the Boys series on Amazon, but I feel like getting back to just classic storytelling. So I am surprised that Top Gun 2 has done as well as it has. Top Gun Maverick, it's just that it really stands out with a lot of the blockbusters being made today. Another question here from Cavatino Cavalryman Shea says, was inspiration taken from Tuskegee and Red Tails?
The movie Red Tails that George Lucas produced, that actually, and I love George Lucas, and like my childhood was extremely influenced by George Lucas. So I hate to say this, but I'll be honest. That movie is one of the movies that made me even more passionate about using real aircraft from World War II instead of CG. And it's just getting a little bit better today. There's like some trailers for some new aviation movies coming up where the CG looks like almost like going from PS4 to PS5. It's like, okay, the graphics are getting better, but there's still nothing like the original Top Gun and what Top Gun Maverick did, what Pearl Harbor mostly did, with the real aircraft in 2001, Dunkirk. It's like it's almost a lost art. And what I got from Red Tails, there were some very emotional scenes on the ground, but I literally wanted to do the opposite of what Red Tails did in the air and just do everything for real except for our brilliant, VFX department headed by Ryan Urban, who works with the Wachowskis. He blew everything up and did all the tracer fire, the smoke, and the stuff that we couldn't do for real. But the mandate was like, let's have this not look like Red Tails. So I
Oh,
hate
no.
to say that, because George Lucas is still, for the original Star Wars more than anything, from '77, like one of my idols. But every time that movie's on, I just go, oh God, it's like, please turn
Well,
on Top Gun instead.
I mean, I saw Red Tails in the theater. I agree, it's too digital, but it shows that still it's like he has a sense as an action master. But at the same time, I look at the subject of that movie. I would have rather seen a documentary about the subject than the way he approached it. More comments and questions here. CD Stein 69 says, with mentioning original Highlander, I'm interested in Michael's future projects. Seems like Michael's a true movie fan, which we need more of in film creation. Lubitsch Touch Me says, The Longest Day is so wonderful, even if it is extremely inaccurate. And Akanika asks, Akanika, who's a member, thank you for that. Tell us about the Detroit filmmakers scene and networking. Detroit, of course, the location of it was Zack Snyder shot Batman v Superman there, and there's a lot of filmmaking happening back in Michigan. So tell us what the scene is like. Akanika would like to know.
Well, first of all, you mentioned Batman versus Superman. Our stunt team worked on that, and they literally had a specific pad, like for falls, that they nicknamed the Batman Superman pad. So they never really elaborated on why, but it was kind of like an inside joke of some kind. But no, I'll tell you, the Detroit filmmaking scene is filled with passionate, talented people. And I think it's kind of almost like one of the best kept secrets. Whenever people think about filmmaking, of course, you think about Los Angeles, you think about New York. These days, you think about Atlanta, and there's a bunch like Toronto, for tax incentives. But like, I went to film school in Chicago, still in the Midwest, and just like the Midwest sensibility of like just going out and getting it done no matter what. And I've come back. I'm from Metro Detroit. I've been back here for about 10 years now. And honestly, I don't think I could have made this movie without the kind of passion and support and just the skill of the filmmakers here. Everybody from directors to DPs, all the way down to production assistants. Like, there's a hunger here. There's like I said, serious talent here. And there's a lot of people, I think, that are that have come out of Detroit in the past and that will be, I think, soon, that are just like top notch. And the other thing that's great about the Detroit industry, it is a small world. Like, you throw a stone and you'll hit like 10 people that and so it's really cool, and like to be part of an industry that feels tight knit. There's still a lot of people. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of people, but it's not quite as expansive as like either of the coasts. And it's just very hardy here, and if you commit to doing something and you say we're going to go all in, and you build the right team, you can do everything here that you can do in Hollywood. I'd say, like, I think 90% of the crew and most of the cast is based in Detroit in Wolfhound. And I'm very proud of that.
Well, I'm from Michigan, from the Royal Oak area. And
Oh,
I'll
really?
say, yeah, oh yeah, no, I grew up in Michigan. I moved to LA in '89. So I've been here a while, but I have family in Michigan. I go back there. It's beautiful. What I love about Michigan is people are no bullshit. And this is why
That's
people
right.
people that meet me, none of them think I'm from California. They think I'm from New York. I just feel like I have a highly tuned bullshit detector. So I always feel like if I think someone's full of shit, and I feel like that, but everybody's like that in Michigan. Everybody's like, people are not full of shit like they are in the Los Angeles area. Let me just say that. So
We have good bullshit detectors here.
We do have, good bullshit detectors in Michigan. Trav 101 says, this is a great interview. Zax, who's a member, says, it's a relief to hear up and coming filmmakers favoring practical effects. And Turo has a good question here. In regards to the aerial shots, what was the percentage of practical effects versus CGI?
I will tell you that easily. There's not a single fully CG plane in the entire film. And the only time when you have like digital paint replacements and like kind of the skin of the aircraft being painted on, is for the destruction shots. The models that our special effects department, Matt Stratton was the coordinator, Carlton Meanhouse made the models. They weren't as big as the models that like Top Gun and Star Wars gets to use because we were lower budget. And so, the VFX department took the real paint jobs and like put them on the model planes, which is still mind blowing to me. But outside of that, everything you see is like all the planes in the sky. Those are 100% real planes in the sky. And again, it was the tracer fire, some of the smoke, the B-17 smoke was real. The other aircraft had to be, the smoke painted in because they didn't have smoke machines on them. But that's how real it was. It was, I mean, every scene and every shot was really up there. And I see it's asking, did I get to fly in one of the planes?
Yeah.
I got to go up in the B-17. And I did that once in 2013 for a commercial. It was incredible. We flew for about an hour and a half to get like the real actor shots, like with the real sky out the background of the windows. And it is the smoothest aircraft I've ever been in. It's like silk. And I think it's because like it had to be a real bombing platform in World War II, so they had to make that thing really smooth. And like some of the crew and cast was even like, that's the smoothest airplane we've ever been on. And then I did fly in the camera plane a minority of the time. Most of the time, my DP Wes Gathright was like in the back seat with Craig Hosking, who did Dunkirk. I was directing from the ground. But my dad's a pilot, and when he makes turns, it's like the plane goes, okay, we're going to go to the left. With Craig, and this is no offense, he's just like a really like trained like stunt pilot. It's like, go to the left. He's like, okay, boom. And then your stomach takes like 5 seconds to catch up. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna direct from the ground for the rest of the time.
And let's final question here. Liam in Wales asks, what is something new you learned from the film? Maybe a problem you solved that you did not expect. And right after this question, we're going to do our drawing for the winner of the Blu-ray. So,
okay. What did I learn from the film? Well, this was my first feature as a director. And again, I am very thankful that I even got to do that. The biggest thing that I learned, I think, is just how valuable time can be during a shoot day. And it's like you want to give all the time in the world to every shot. But if you do that, you're going to blow your schedule, you're going to blow your day, and you're going to be filming for a year. And we did not have that kind of luxury. So honestly, it's like learning when to move on from a take. Some of the crew or the cast will probably say, BS, you didn't learn that yet, because I did a lot of takes, but like I could have done more. But it was just like time management and realizing like, okay, I gave too much time to this shot, which I didn't need, but I really needed more time on this shot, which I wish I had. So like, kind of recognizing where to allot the time, I think, for movie number 2. Hopefully I'll do better.
I hear a cat in the background. Am I wrong?
Yes, you do.
All right. And
our cat is relentless.
One last question, because Turo, love when Turo joins the chat. It's a good question here that I want to know. In regards to the aerial shot, what percentage of practical versus CGI? And he already answered. Did you get to fly in one of those great planes? Michael talked about that earlier, but what was the percentage of CGI and practical?
It was, again, 0 fully CGI planes. So everything you see up in the air, that's real, except the model shots were also real. There was never nothing in front of the camera. It was always either scale models or the real thing. And I think the scale models probably like less than 20 shots in the whole movie. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of real shots. So, I mean, like this much was scale models with CG.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's do the giveaway. Alan, can you?
Yes.
Here we go. Check it out. So 27 people joined. It's going to be a random drawing and real simple. Go for it.
There's everybody. And the winner goes to... Oh, Carnell.
No, almost.
I know.
Carnell's the winner. Jillian, you almost had it. So Carnell, go to filmthreat.com/contact. Tell us that you won. We will pass along your physical mailing address to the people at Lionsgate, who will send you your Blu-ray. Michael, thank you so much for being on the show today. Always a pleasure. Make sure you come back when your next movie is out. And thank you for answering all these great questions in our chat.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. And I really hope Carnell and everybody else enjoys the Blu-ray. We did work extra hard to give the making of just the best treatment we could. And it's a real, not to sound like a used car salesman, it gives you a real good fly on the wall perspective of what it was like making the movie.
Cool. Michael, thanks again. Can't wait to have you back. Appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
All right. Later. Thanks. Always great to have Michael on. That's awesome. We'll get in. Carnell, please contact us. And if Carnell does not claim this prize, Jillian, it's going to you. We may have other prizes. I'm trying to work some deals where we get like digital codes to give away for movies, because people always love that. It's also not specific necessarily to, it doesn't matter if you're overseas, right? So there you go. I love to give away stuff. We've got a few more chat questions to wrap up here based on our previous conversations. Womp Biscuit says, I don't disagree. You can get your film, quote, out there easier nowadays, aside from film festivals. But I'd think to break into Hollywood big time, you have to go through these major fests. You're absolutely right, Womp Biscuits. That's one way to do it. But also, the festivals are really good for networking. By networking, I mean drinking. I think that's pretty much what we widely accept is happening at film festivals. So I still think they're important, not as important as they are, because they're not as important as they are because the whole purpose of going to a film festival is, one, to get reviewed, and two, get your movie reviewed by mainstream critics, and secondarily is to get a distribution deal. And both of those things you can do by not going to a film festival. But you're right, to sort of leapfrog into doing a movie at a larger studio. I'm trying to think, did James Gunn's Super play film festivals? It must have. Could you look that up, Alan? Super was the movie that James Gunn made before he did Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's with Rainn Wilson. It's such a good film, so good.
It premiered at Toronto.
Yeah, so it played. Toronto's a big film festival, so it played Toronto. It's that is the way to at least get the attention of major studios. And a good question here from Seiro Misa. Seiro Misa says, Chris, have you guys checked out the trailer for Funny Pages? It looks promising in an old school 90s way. What did you guys think? I have seen the trailer for Funny Pages. We played it at our panel at San Diego Comic-Con to an audience of like over 100 people. We were laughing our asses off. It's hysterical. It's about a young kid who meets a comic book illustrator for Image Comics. He's kind of a loser. He doesn't care about where he'll work at a gas station. He doesn't care. He just wants to get involved in comics. It looks hysterical. I cannot wait to see that movie. Funny Pages. Cannot wait for that. There's another movie I want to put on your radar, and a new trailer dropped today. And I wonder if I could find this trailer. I wonder if we should just do a reaction to it. This trailer came out from IFC, and it is, let me look for it. It's called Vesper. And a new trailer came out today from IFC Films. Yeah, it came out 4 hours ago from IFC Films. Let me see if we can, we played the earlier trailer. Do we want to watch this trailer? If we do this, we might get copyright claimed. Might have to clip it at the end.
We will get copyright claimed. Yeah,
we'll be copyright claimed.
We will be.
Will we?
Yes. Yeah, especially if it's IFC.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure.
Damn it! All right. Well, I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the trailer. I'm gonna put the trailer in the chat, and I'm gonna let people check this out on their own. It looks really cool. Just a very original looking, a low budget sci-fi film. It doesn't look low budget. Wait, what am I doing? Did I? Okay.
No, that's me. I did that.
Okay, sorry about that. No,
I'm just showing the poster here.
In any case, looks really cool. Looks very much like a graphic novel. Really cool. Spider Geronimo says, "Don't risk it. We can watch later." Yeah, we'll watch. We can watch it. Can we watch it on mute? We can watch it on mute.
Well, yeah,
I'm just gonna mute it. All right, here we go. Wait, no, shoot. I got to share the screen. I'm all excited today. I'm going to see the Dragon Ball movie. Going to see the Dragon Ball movie later today. And for our Friday show, we're going to be talking about fall. We're going to have the director of I Love My Dad. It's going to be Friday's show is going to be jam-packed. We may have another filmmaker joining the show. It's going to be jam-packed. Let's watch this trailer. What do I do that? It'll look better. Okay, here we go. So we're watching this. Just visually speaking, it looks really amazing. So gotta check it out. It's got like, yeah, definitely Akanika says it has a Monsters vibe. So yeah, it looks cool. It just looks very original, very different, very it's like very dystopian and dark. But yeah, she's got this like companion. Something's happened to this world. This could be Earth, who knows? But I really think, and this isn't the only one. I mean, this is really kind of like, yeah, Jillian N asks, are you going to review the Dragon Ball movie? Yes, I am. I'll be talking about it on Friday. But yeah, Dragon Ball on Friday, fall. What else do we have coming up?
Yeah, I'll actually be seeing Funny Pages on Monday.
Oh, how did you get into that?
Well, you should check your email, but they just posted the press screenings.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Can you forward that to me,
Yeah,
Alan?
I can forward that to you.
Cool, man. This is how we work. It's like, yeah, can you send me that, dude? We didn't get to our review of Not Okay. We'll talk about that on Friday. But just looking at this visually, it looks so strange and different. I mean, it's part of like why I liked Denis Villeneuve's Dune, is it just also looks very different. So yeah, I cannot wait for Vesper. It looks really cool. I think this is what we need more of, is more original, science fiction, fantasy, horror, something we haven't seen before. So check out Vesper. There you go. Cool. Yeah. All right, Alan, I think it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone in the chat. Yeah, exactly. I hope it's not woke. I mean, it may be a little bit, but like, look, it's sort of like, it's not to me overtly, overtly is irritating. But not just, it's just sort of a little bit like,
It's about the collapse of the ecosystem. That's its kind of backdrop here.
Script Doctor says, great show, guys. Script, we'll have to talk about what we can do together. Would love to do something with you. Gotta get Alan on Midnight's Edge in the morning. You got to start doing it, Alan.
Yeah,
I
gotta get more warning than a few hours. That's all.
Yeah, but want to thank you all for watching and spending your afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in. Thanks for watching us. We are Film Threat on everything. Alan, where can people find you on social media?
At my pal Al on Twitter, at Film Threat Alan on Instagram, and filmthreat.com for reviews. Nice.
And I am that Chris Gore on everything, although I don't tweet all that much. You might find me irritating on Twitter. So your mileage may vary. We're Film Threat on everything. We will see you on Friday. Alan, take us out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Alan, you want to try that again?
No. Let's get out of here.